everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Chelsea and I make videos mostly about Disney and a couple of other videos like travel, veganism, sustainability and vlogs. So if you're interested in any of those, then make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up as well because they really help me out. Okay, so before I get into the video, I just want to mention that I have opened a small shop on Etsy. It is for some Disney prints that I have made. I've drawn them all by hand. So I will insert some pictures of them here rather than showing you, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. So yeah, if anybody else is interested, then I will leave the link down below. Okay, so today's video is actually going to be a collab with Becca from Becca's Small World. If you can't tell by her channel name, she is mainly a Disney channel, but she also does lots of other videos as well. So definitely go and check out her channel after you've watched both of our videos. So yeah, we are doing an Imagineering Showdown today. So I don't know if you remember a couple of months ago, I did a video on an inside out land. I just basically created a whole new land that could go in one of the Disney parks. But today's video is going to be more of like a showdown. So we're going to sort of see whose land you prefer. So after you've watched both of our videos, then come back and leave a comment and let me know who you think won the showdown, whether you think I won it or Becca won it. I'm not going to be mad if you think Becca won it because I'm sure her ideas are amazing as well. And I would also love it if you could leave another comment just telling me anything else that you would add to this land. Obviously, I've had to stop somewhere with the Imagineering because otherwise this video would go on for way too long, but also the land would be just a whole nother park in itself. I have had some other ideas for rides and I wonder if you guys would think of the same thing. Okay, so today's land, we are going to be creating a Coco land. So I'm just going to get straight into the video because this has been a very long introduction and it's going to be a very long video if I don't start now. So I have actually created, oh, it's plugged in so I can't show you. I have created a PowerPoint to show you guys. Yeah, so I've just moved over quickly so that you can see both me and the PowerPoint, which is going to be here. And so yeah, sorry if I'm looking down a lot in this video. I will try not to look down too much, but I will be having a look at my PowerPoint to remind myself of what is it in the land. I think instead of calling it Coco Land, I'll probably call it like Land of the Dead or something. I don't know if that's sort of against Disney talking about dead things, but then they made a movie about it, so why can't it be a land? Either Land of the Dead or just Mexico. So where will it be? I did have a think about putting it in Florida, but there is a ride that's kind of similar to a ride that is there. So I thought Disneyland Paris would be perfect because it's my closest park and then I would get to see it a bit more. I've worked in Paris before and hopefully I'll work there again, so then I'd actually get to experience the land all the time. Oh, I've got some animations going on. So this is where I put it. So this whole area here is the new land that I've created. So at the moment that is actually a backstage area, so it would just have to be converted and then backstage sort of like pushed around it. I also couldn't find a map of Paris with like the new plan. So they have planned, from what I've seen, a new Frozen land, a Star Wars land and a Marvel land, and I think they're all going to go around a lake. So I've sort of just drawn that on. So yeah, I couldn't find a map that had all those lands on it because otherwise I probably would have put it back here somewhere, but obviously that's where all the new lands are going, so that's why I've put it down here in the corner. Okay, so what will the land look like? So at the entrance is going to be an ofrenda, so you're going to enter the Land of the Dead on the bridge that Miguel walks on to enter the Land of the Dead. So the bridge is going to be orange and it's going to look like the leaves. Obviously it's not going to be actual leaves because that's going to be very difficult. So it'll just sort of have like the pattern drawn on it of actual leaves, and at night it will glow in the dark. So it'll look really amazing at nighttime. But just before the bridge is going to be an ofrenda, just sort of like as a photo opportunity, but just sort of introducing you into the Dia de los Muertos celebration. And it's going to be obviously the ofrenda from Miguel's story, so it's going to have all of his family on it. Halfway over the bridge is where you're going to enter the Land of the Dead sort of building, so the whole land is going to be inside. I've decided this purely because whenever I've been in Disneyland Paris, I've said that they really should have thought about the weather in Paris when they created Disney, because so much of it is outside and people get grumpy when it's cold and wet or when it's too hot, and they hate queuing in not nice weather conditions. So I've decided to put the whole land inside so that it is weather friendly all year round. So obviously in the summer there'll be aircon, in the winter there'll be maybe slight heating, but like not too much because then people will just be like, ugh. Yeah, you know how people are. As you're walking over the bridge, there's going to be the Dia de los Muertos flags everywhere on the outside half, so the land of the living. So yes, because the land is inside, it can be dark the whole time. So it's going to have like a nighttime sort of vibe that is like in the film. So it's going to be like kind of dark, slightly foggy, and as you finish walking over the bridge, there's going to be the turnstiles that welcome you into the land. So there's going to be some cast members there who are like photopass photographers who will take your picture, because you know how they like scan their faces to let them into the land of the living. It's going to be like that. Going back, they're going to scan the guests by taking a picture of them. You're going to have two pictures. The first one is just going to be a normal picture, so you can get a nice group family photo of you guys going into the land of the dead. And then you can also have individual ones as well, where the camera will sort of do like a magic shot and make you into a skeleton. So you can again have group pictures or individual pictures there. And then yes, because the land of the dead looks so crazy in the movie, I thought that they could have the walls painted like the land of the dead, but then have like a couple of buildings as well, so it is still kind of realistic. And then obviously the buildings is where like the restaurant, the shops, and the rides are going to go. Okay, so meet and greets. So there is going to be some meet and greets with Miguel and Hector. These will go on for like the whole day. They're going to be face characters as well, so you're actually going to be able to talk to them and really interact with them. And then there's also going to be a meet and greet with Ernesto de la Cruz under a bell, and then there will be photopass photographers at both of the locations. So ride number 1 is going to be called Mission of the Alebrije. I'm sorry for my English accent with the Spanish. I am actually learning Spanish, but Alebrije, I don't know. So it's a very similar idea to a Flight of Passage, so that's why I haven't put the land in America. That's why I chose Paris, because it is very similar to Flight of Passage, and I think Paris needs that. I love that ride, it's so good. So basically the building where the ride is going to be Ernesto de la Cruz's like palace thing. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd say it's a palace. So it's going to be like a huge gold building. That's going to be sort of like, you know how they have like the castle in the Magic Kingdom? That'll be like the main, like the center point of this land is going to be his castle, and that's where this ride is going to be. So you're going to enter through the front doors to get into the queue, and then you're going to go in a queue like you would be going around his castle. And while you're inside, all the music from Coco is going to be playing, and then just other sort of traditional Mexican songs as well, just to really get the culture going through this land. And when you're in the queue, you'll even pass through the little dungeon thing that he has. I don't really know what that is. It is a dungeon, isn't it? So you'll sort of like be walking around, and then you'll like go down some stairs into the dungeon and then go back up and then get on the ride. The ride will start, like the entrance point to the ride is going to be like as you're coming out of the dungeon, because that's how Miguel and Hector get out the dungeon on an Alebrije. So when you enter into the ride, it's going to be very much like the Flight of Passage, where you're matched to an avatar. In this one, you're going to be matched to your own Alebrije. So they're all going to be pretty extravagant Alebrijes. They're not going to be like a monkey, because you can't ride on a monkey. So they're going to be all big animals that you can ride on. So like tigers, the big cat thing, dogs, like eagles, whatever. You're going to get on your Alebrije. You're also, like in Flight of Passage, going to be able to feel it breathing, which I loved. That was such a good touch in Flight of Passage. And then you're going to fly through the Coco movie. So you'll have like, there'll be like a part where you sort of stop in front of Dante and he sneezes so that it can spray you. There'll also be like other bits where you pass like a fountain or go near a lake and you get like the sea mist. And then like going through caves and like flying around the land of the dead and just sort of getting all the smells and stuff. I've written here that the Alebrije flies around Mexico, but the Alebrijes aren't in the land of the living, so he now just flies around the land of the dead. So that is the mission of the Alebrije ride. Okay, so ride number 2 is Journey to the Land of the Dead. I will be honest, I'm not the most creative when it comes to naming the rides, so maybe we could think of some new names. Maybe leave a comment down below if you can think of a better name for any of the rides or restaurants or whatever. I'm very unimaginative when it comes to naming things. The second ride is going to be a boat journey through Coco, so it's going to be sort of like the Frozen ride in Florida, or like Peter Pan's Flight, or even It's a Small World. It's going to be very similar to those, so it's going to be a nice calm one. So when you're in the first room, it's actually going to be in his house and you're going to be able to smell all the food that they're cooking, and then you're going to go just through the rest of the story. And when you go over the bridge, so the bridge that goes from the land of the living to the land of the dead, it's going to be sort of like, you know how in Pirates of the Caribbean it's not a log flume, but there are little bumps to go over, it'll be like that. So it's not going to be scary for anyone who's scared of rides, but it's just going to add a little bit extra to a traditional boat ride in Disney. And the ride's going to be just to the left of the entrance as you come into the land, just because I feel like it's a good ride to start with, because it starts at the beginning of the story. So for anyone who actually hasn't seen Coco, they can go on that ride and find out what it's all about. And the final ride is a kids ride. It is the Alebrije flight. Again, I'm very unimaginative with the name, but this is basically like Orbiton, I think it's called in Paris. I'm not sure what it's called in any other parks, but it's like this one. As you come into Discoveryland, there's like a ride there that has little spaceships going around it. It'll be similar to that, but we've got Alebrijes, and these little yellow things, they're people. So there's going to be 2 children per Alebrije, and you've got Dante and then the flying cat thing. There will be other animals, but I couldn't find any pictures of the other animals on Google to cut out and put on here. So for now, we've just got Dante and the cat thing. You're coming in from like this direction. It's kind of hard to draw. So like you're going to be walking here, and then it like opens up into the land. This will be like the first ride that you see straight ahead of you. To the left, this is where the boat ride is going to be. And then to the right, this is where the palace is going to be. So it's not like the central point, but it's going to be like the main point. So there'll be like a whole little area here, sort of like a courtyard in front of the palace, so that people can like get pictures in front of it. Okay, so entertainment, I was torn between a traditional parade and a show like the Jungle Book Drive. I've gone for the show like the Jungle Book Drive just because that was so popular and people loved it. Obviously, by the time this land has been made, the Jungle Book Drive will probably not be going on anymore, because I think they are still going to continue doing that for a couple of summers. But with the amount of time that it takes to build a land, by the time this is built, that will have finished, so they can now move on to this. So there's not going to be 2 shows that are very similar, but this is sort of taking a lot of inspiration from that. So there's going to be 4 floats. So the first one is going to be the gazebo, where the talent show is at the start, in that sort of like central plaza, and Miguel is going to be in there with his guitar and just sort of like waving to people. And in front of this float, there's going to be dancers in the traditional Mexican dresses. They're not going to look like skeletons or anything, because they're in the land of the living, so they're just going to be traditional Mexican dancers in the dresses and the suits. The second float is going to be Ernesto de la Cruz, and he is going to be under a bell again. Yeah, he's also going to be with his guitar. And there's going to be, you know those cactus dancers? I don't know what that lady's name is. Yeah, they're going to be dancing in front of his float. The third float is going to be a huge Alebrije and Dante. There's not going to be any people on this float, but there is going to be dancers in front of it, and these are going to be the skeletons in the traditional Mexican dresses and suits. So similar to the first one, but like dead. So they'll like move slightly differently to the ones at the front. The fourth float is going to be Hector, his wife, and Coco after she's passed away, so she'll be a skeleton as well. And then the rest of the family are going to be walking and doing meet and greets, like with the guests in front of the float. Quick meet and greets, obviously, just like hi, bye. Yeah, so it's just going to be the rest of the family. And the parade is going to come from backstage, and then it's going to stop at that main plaza bit that I talked about in front of our palace. Let me draw this. So we got our palace here. I don't know why this kind of looks like a camera, but that's how I want to draw it. So there's going to be like that central plaza area. When it gets to here, it'll parade once around this road, and each of the floats will stop in different places. And there'll be some little stages here where all the characters can get off and go onto a little stage, do a little show stop like they do in the Jungle Book Drive and in the Halloween Cavalcade in Disneyland Paris. Yeah, so the guests, where the guests can stand, I'll do this in green. The guests can stand on the like pavement around here, all the way up to the castle, and like even in front of the little palace as well. So they'll be able to stand in the middle, but then all of this space here is for the dancers and characters. Hopefully that makes sense. It's very similar to the Jungle Book Drive if you've seen that in Disneyland Paris. And then I think because everybody loved the colourful powder, or at least I did, that was thrown from the castle in the Jungle Book Drive, I'm going to have orange powder thrown from the palace in this one, just at the end of the show stop. Just because I loved it and it really just added something. And I was debating on having orange and purple, because purple seems like a very Coco colour as well, but I'm not purple's biggest fan, so I've stuck with just orange, but yeah. There we go. Okay, so there's going to be another show as well. So this is going to be a separate room in the land. It's going to be a whole theatre, and it's going to have a stage that looks exactly like the one in the Coco movie. And there's going to be like Mexican band singers, like these ones here. There'll be individual singers and Mexican dancers in, again, the traditional dresses. And the show is going to be 45 minutes long, and it's going to happen 4 times a day. And this will be a sort of like, you have to wait and then go in the theatre all at the same time. It's not like something that you can just like stop by and watch 10 minutes of, like the parades. It will be more like the Lion King, like the Festival of the Lion King, where you actually have to go into the theatre. Okay, so food. So I've got one restaurant which has traditional Mexican dishes. These are all going to be vegan because I'm vegan and it's my land, so again, just like I did in the Inside Out land, it's all going to be vegan because why not? Paris definitely needs a lot more vegan options in Disneyland. So they're gonna serve just like all sorts of traditional Mexican dishes, and then there's also going to be a food stand outside that's gonna serve more sweet treats, again all vegan, and it's going to be like, all the treats are going to be decorated like Coco, so there'll be like biscuits that look like Alebrijes, cakes that have like orange and purple icing on them, other Mexican treats as well, like churros, and I don't know what other Mexican sweet treats there are, but anything that is a Mexican treat will be at this stand. Okay, so there's going to be a little dressing up shop. I honestly couldn't for the life of me think of a name for this, so please leave it in your comment down below a name that I can call this shop. It's going to be exactly like the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. I'm not creative enough to come up with a name for it, but basically kids are going to be able to get their skeleton face paint where they can look like Miguel. They can have a sugar skull face paint, Alebrije face paint, and then you can also buy Miguel's outfit, so they can have a red hoodie and his little jeans for all the little boys or girls who want to look like Miguel. And then they can also get traditional Mexican dresses and suits as well, and like sombreros and flowers for the hair, like these ones. Okay, so then merchandise shops. So there's going to be one after the Journey of the Alebrije. So as you come off it, you're going to be able to make your own Alebrije. So going to be other Alebrije inspired things. So there'll be like pins, t-shirts, like hats, I don't know, like lots of merchandise, but it's all going to be specifically Alebrije. So it's going to be a very, very colourful shop. It's going to be beautiful. And then there's going to be another shop that is going to sell Coco related merchandise, so anything Coco, so t-shirts, hats, pins, toys, sombreros, and you know the traditional Mexican like flower headbands, like how I showed in the last slide? There's going to be these that have been made into ears. They're so cute. I drew some. There's going to be ones like these, so they're going to have like not wires, so like I know like a lot of small shops make wire ears with the flowers in front, so it's kind of similar to that, but they're going to be like real like poofy ears with the like sequins on them and everything as well. And yeah, they're just going to be nice and simple, and you can get them in lots of different colors. And then finally, photo opportunities. So obviously there are going to be photo pass photographers for both of the meet and greet locations. There's going to be photo pass photographers at the front for the turnstiles welcoming people into the land, and then there's going to be a photographer in front of the palace so that you can get your nice little palace pictures. And then there's just going to be like general like locations just randomly picked throughout the land where there's going to be photo pass photographers. There'll be one, as I say, near the palace. There'll be ones like just around the random buildings and stuff, and just sort of like in random locations so that they can do magic shots, so you can just add like Miguel, Dante and Alebrijes to your pictures. That is the end of my PowerPoint. Okay, so that is it for this land. I really hope you enjoyed this video. As I say, please leave a comment down below letting me know if you preferred my land or Becca's land. I would also love to hear your thoughts on like anything else that could be added to the land, and please help me out with the names of the rides and the shops and the restaurants and everything. I'm just so bad at naming things. I really need to work on that for the future videos. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up because they really help me out, and make sure you head over to Becca's channel to go and watch her video, and make sure you subscribe to her channel as well. She does loads of amazing Disney videos, so definitely go and check those out as well. So I'll see you in my next video. Have a magical day. Bye everyone.